red letters over trap beats to fix it, saying, ooh. DJ Focus, tell him turn you up, ooh. DJ Focus, tell him turn you up.
Welcome back. DJ Focus, Dice Gamble. You tap back into The Fix, your source of faith-infused hip-hop, R&B, and poetry. It's time for our spiritual detox, and we got a special one for y'all today. It's very rare that you get somebody that can clothesline you in the spirit and literally in real life too as well. Whether you want the Bible or whether you want them holy hands, you know what I'm saying? Please don't walk up on him, man, thinking it's soft, because listen, he only know one way to go. But in all seriously, I'm excited because not only has he had a very successful professional wrestling career, he over here doing it in our space now, and we excited because he can actually rap. I know y'all think that's like an easy thing to do, but it's not when you're an athlete, entertainer, and you try to come into the music realm. Because you maybe had a little notoriety over there don't mean it's going to correlate over here. But no, that ain't his problem. He comes over here and he does it at a high level. Representing Menace Movement, God Over Money, the one and only Monster Tarver.
Hey, man. Praise God. Thank you so much, man. Thank you for having me, brother. It's an honor to be here.
Man, listen, I've been watching the journey, man, and I'm excited for you because you're doing some powerful things, man. You got this new project out, man, so come on, catch the people up to date with this project that's out and the inspiration behind it.
Yes, sir. The album's called The War of Art. It released on November 17th of this year, last month. 25 years in the making.
Wow.
Working on something. Jay-Z said his first album took him his whole life to make.
Right.
So it's kind of the same thing, man. I went through so much highs and lows, hell and high water, just to get to the point where I was able to have an opportunity with Dayton and Bizzle and God Over Money. God orchestrated that whole thing. He saw me through, which makes it even more special. I got my son with me here, Tev. He produced half the album. So like having my son be a part of this journey with me and having him being able to inherit this and move forward and take it further than I ever could. And it means so much.
Mm-hmm. So talk about just in general, catch us back up on speed. When did you fall in love with hip hop? What was that first hip hop moment for you that even got you to even inspire you to even do music?
I remember it vividly. Special Ed, I got it made.
Oh my goodness.
Special Ed, I got it made. That was my first ever favorite rapper. It's so funny, man. I was like 7th grade. I was 13 or 14. It was like 89 or something like that. Something, I don't know. And I got it made. I heard that and I was in love. That was it. And then after that, I learned all of the words to the song, and then everything he put out, I had to go buy every tape. I begged my parents to buy me Special Ed tapes. And it was like, Special Ed, you mean school? I said, no, the rapper.
Not the yellow bus. Not the yellow bus.
Not the yellow bus, the rapper. And yeah, he's a pioneer, man. And then from there, Big Daddy Kane was one of my earliest favorite rappers.
No half-stepping.
No half-stepping, man.
Give it all you got. Give it all you got.
Oh, yeah.
Man, hip-hop was different back then, man. Speak to that a little bit, man. It was just different.
It was different. It was because it was more about partying, more about fun, more about community elevation. There was a lot more, as far as like the black artists, more uplifting, the black community in their own way, but at least that was the narrative, where it's different to what it is now. But now hip-hop is such a broad spectrum of an industry where people from all over the world, different cultures, different backgrounds now can partake in this culture, and they can be a part of hip-hop, which I think is beautiful. I just ask that when people walk in, they wipe their feet on the front door and then take care of the furniture when you sit down. Other than that, everybody's welcome.
No, break that down a little bit, because that's a bar that went over people's heads. Elaborate a little bit more on that statement.
I definitely will. So, recently, Eminem is my favorite rapper of all time. And recently, 2019, I think it was. 2019 or... No, last year. So Melly Mel, one of the GOATs, one of the OGs. And, he said some statements, which is his opinion about Eminem, how he felt about Eminem, feeling that Eminem's success came from him being white, not from him being skilled. And so, and then before that, Lord Jamar, who's another hip-hop staple, part of Brand Nubian, legendary group. He shared some of the same sentiments, and then, created the narrative of the house of hip-hop, hip-hop being a house, and then certain people being who lived there being, indigenous to the house, and certain people being guests to the house, and referring to Eminem as being a guest because he's white. I disagree with that. A lot of people do, and some people agree with it. But the analogy that I gave is the idea that we can all come into the house of hip-hop and live here. Just respect the people who set the table, who made the food that you're about to sit down at the table and eat from, who washed those dishes you're about to eat off of, you know, who respect that and come in and it doesn't matter what color you are, who you are, where you're from, you know, come in and respect it, because hip hop has been the driving force of so many different mediums and entertainment and music and television is used to sell everything. And I remember going to Japan to wrestle in 2014 and seeing hip hop all over Japan. You know, like it was all over Tokyo. Like it was just a beautiful thing. And walking through the hip hop, the 50 years of hip hop, the room and seeing it, I was in tears. Like I'm telling my son, I'm wiping tears off my face. And I was telling him, do you know how big this is? Like how big of a deal this is? Because in our era, we wanted to be on the radio. That was, you know, I remember Friday nights, 93 FM, WZAK.
Lynn Tolliver, Ralph Poole. You better go back.
Way
DJ
back.
Ronnie Knight.
Yeah,
listen, you better talk about it.
Yes, sir. I remember. Oh man, and they would do. I can't remember what DJ would do, but every Friday night they would do a hip hop section, and I would get a cassette tape and record it every single week.
If you don't talk about them TDK tapes,
man,
you going back there?
I'm going way back.
When we had the dub on this one,
yep,
play on this one,
yep. And I know you just put the radio on and just hit record, and
yes,
and you can just record. Or every week I just record new every week, and then I fell in love with music videos and Yo MTV Raps and Rap City, The Basement, and just all of those things. Video Soul, man.
You better talk about Donnie.
Donnie Simpson, man. Soul Train.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. But growing up, falling in love with hip hop, falling in love with the culture, and not just hip hop, but I was in love with heavy metal music and rock music and different types of music, and it made me the artist that I am today. But then the most important part of that is my mother was a minister, and I grew up in church my whole life. And I remember, oh man, it's a funny story. I remember buying Redman's second album, Redman, another one of my favorite artists of all time, one of the best rappers of all time. To me, one of the greatest hip-hop albums ever. There's a Dark Side. It's a secular rap album.
I'm familiar.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And There's a Dark Side, the entire album is a story. Redman was one of the first, if not the first, rapper to connect every single song with a skit and a story between songs so it flows seamlessly. And Kendrick just kind of became like the new generation's version of that with To Pimp a Butterfly and Good Kid, Mad City. Like he was, you know, people were talking about it. I'm like, man, Redman did that 20 years ago. Like I love that Kendrick's doing that because people are doing that. And she, I'll never forget the story. I bought the tape and she saw the picture of the album cover, and it was a picture of his head coming out of the ground, and it was an homage to the Maggot Brain album cover, the old rock group. And she told me that one of her brothers used to play guitar, and he listened to that music, and it just kind of messed him up mentally. So she took my tape, and she hid it from me. And I remember I couldn't find it for a year, and I found it for like a year. I found it like in one of her dressers or whatever, and continued to listen to it, and even went further into different genres. We got into hardcore, got into horrorcore. Oh my goodness, man. I don't know what you know about horrorcore.
I know about it.
Wow.
Yeah.
I fell in love with horrorcore. Preacher's Kid. How funny is that?
Mm-hmm.
But this is the journey, 25 years of blood, sweat, years, tears, and highs and lows, and God seeing me and letting me, you know, get off the wrong exit and then guide me back to the right one. Let me get off on the wrong exit, guide me back to the right one, and here we are.
It's funny you brought up the horrorcore because I was thinking of what's the artist, the rap artist who kind of did a lot of music with a lot of those musicians. Tech Nine. Tech Nine has done a lot of music with a lot of the rock.
He would have been considered.
Earlier on. Early on too as well. And I don't know if you know another artist from the Bay Area, Brother Lynch Hung.
Of course I know Brother Lynch.
Oh my goodness. Season of the Sick.
Yep.
Listen, we're giving y'all hip hop history right now.
Really
now listen, let's be very clear. I am not telling y'all to go and listen to this music because that was a different era. Yep. Listen, anybody who know me, that was my Monty C, Vogues and Wells days, and there was a lot of that Snoop stuff in the air. Pray for me. I come from a different life. A lot of Snoop stuff in there. Shouts out to Snoop Dogg. Come on, Monster.
Yes,
I need you to talk a little bit more about your unique sound.
Yes, sir.
So it comes across gritty, real. Yeah, we talk about we're celebrating 50 years of hip hop. Yes, I'll be honest with you. If I didn't know you, I would think you were from Brooklyn. Like it comes across like that battle rap somewhere behind a nightclub, and somebody called you out, and you like, oh, you want some of this today? Okay, we in the back. So talk about, man, your unique style, how it comes across that gritty hip hop freestyle type battle rap type essence.
Yes, sir. So I grew up here in Northeast Ohio. Grew up in Kent, Ohio. And from Cleveland originally. So, if you know about Ohio, you know about the music scene. It's a melting pot of whatever's hot, whatever flows through. But we haven't. The funk is our original sound.
Absolutely,
And
Ohio players. Shouts out to Ohio players. Don't play no games with it.
All of that.
Gap Band, the Ohio Gap Band. So y'all don't know about that.
Yeah. And it was adopted by the West Coast, into G-Funk. So growing up, I grew up on East Coast hip hop. Special Ed, Redman, Wu-Tang Clan. And then later on, Big Pun. And then I heard Eminem and just fell in love. And then when I heard Eminem, it was crazy to me back in '99. My son was a baby. He was a year old, and I was studying the Slim Shady LP. I would literally just sit and listen to it, and I didn't realize how I rapped and how big of a deal it was until I heard Eminem doing the same thing, the multisyllabic patterns.
Yes.
And I'm like, wait, other people do this? And I heard Big Pun. I'm like, yo, other people do this? And I remember I was in the battle rap scene in Akron in like early 2000s, and with this club called the Voodoo Lounge is no longer there, and I used to host a battle every Sunday night, this battle rap every Sunday night, the Voodoo nightclub in North Akron. I was the Future, if you will, of 8 Mile. And I would host it every night. And I would call Black Slim Shady all the time. They would call me Black Slim Shady. Man, Eminem should have signed you instead of 50 Cent. But I would say my style is, shout out to 50 Cent, but this is what people would say back then. My style is definitely a combination of Eminem, Big Pun, Tech Nine, and of course Bone Thugs and Harmony. And I spent 25 years perfecting the sound, trying different things, perfecting my voice, recording in my living room, sitting up all night, writing, recording over and over and over again, trying to find my voice, learning, doing professional public speaking training with other jobs and things like that, and helping me to learn how to enunciate and then how to really attack the syllables of each word. And when I was able to do that, then speak clearly and then expand the patterns and being able to try different patterns. And then when I heard Tech Nine, I'm like, wow, he's literally like a human drum. Like he attacks the different patterns and pockets of each beat. So as I learned that, I realized, okay, my voice is different because I'm from that era where your voice had to be different, where everybody now sounds like an auto-tune 13-year-old, which shouts out to them, but they do,
Auto-tune 13-year-old.
They do.
That's a T-shirt.
It is. It is. It shouts out, but it is. And my son probably rolling his eyes right now. But, I had some slight reservations, upon the debut of this album, but I thought, you know what, I'm going to sound different. I'm going to be different. And let's just hope to God that people get it, and people got it, man. Like I have a older, a grown, like heavier voice. I've learned how to use it, how to manipulate it, how to be aggressive, how to manipulate the cadence, the pace, the timing of it, the volume of it, and just, and do what God gave me the gift to do.
No, you do a very good job on it, and it is grown. This is a hip hop album, so shouts out to all our listeners. Let's talk about the up and coming generation, because you brought up your son. Do you think there's a disconnect between some of the vets like yourself, and we got the Bizzles and the Daytons, and we can go down the list. Do you think within CHH community is there a disconnect between some of you guys, the vets, between the up and coming artists?
I think there's a connection and there's a disconnection as well, but I think the connection is bigger because we're all under CHH. I do feel like there's a disconnect because there could be some more. I know people always say unity, right? There could be more unity. There's competitiveness because the space is expanding into the mainstream world. Things like sync licensing, radio shows, TV shows, documentaries, whatever. They're using Christian rap artists now because their music is just as good as the secular artists, and it's safe. You don't have to censor it. You don't have to worry about messaging. I think and my son and I were just having we have great conversations, and Dayton and I call them rap nerd conversations. And we were listening to the Heaven on Earth album, and I was telling him like,
wait a minute, hold on, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
The fact that you said Dayton call a conversation rap nerd, I can't wait to call him and ask him, because I got so many questions about that. I'm sorry. Yeah. That went over my head for a second. I had to tiptoe back to it. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're good. Yeah. We sitting like just
because I know Dayton. Everything. I'm like, Dayton saying rap nerd conversation? That doesn't sound right.
We break it down like scientists, like math. We break down everything about hip hop. But my son and I, he makes really good points, and I love this about him because he's an old soul. So he produces and he produces, and his sound is almost as like he grew up next to me in the 90s. But he's 23 years old. You know what I mean? But he can also do the same thing, if not better than every hot producer, the same sound they're doing now. But he can make beats that sound like Pete Rock might have touched it, or DJ Premier might have touched it. And he made a good point. He said, this is something that So I told him, listen to the album. And I'm like, okay, I think it's dope. It's not for me, but I think it's dope. He said, well, someone who might listen to a Lil Uzi Vert can listen to this instead. I'm like, bingo, there it is. Because that was my mission when I finally listened to God and got into CHH in 2009. I literally said, when I introduced my son to it, I said, if my superpower is going to be that I can rap, then I want to use it for good, right? And I want to make music that people can listen to that is comparable to the secular music that they're used to listening to. But it's music, but I'm leading them down the right path. I'm doing what God wants me to do with it instead of opposing God with it, not even realizing the damage that I might be causing. And I remember 20 years ago when I first started recording, my music had language and cussing, things like that, and playing it. My kids were babies, and my oldest, they kind of remember, but like when I look back on it now, I'm like, how did I ever do that? Like how and why did I ever do that? And I'm using language in the music that I wouldn't even say in my regular life. You know what I'm saying? Things I wouldn't even say in real life, I would say on these songs, And
well, do you think that's because that's the culture of the gangster rap music that was being portrayed then? You were trying to live up to that to get signed to the major?
Absolutely. And even then, like I wasn't really a gangster rapper. I was more of a backpacker, like Detroit style Eminem.
Oh yeah, Far Side. Come on now, listen. He giving y'all. Backpack rapper. Y'all need to Google that. I know some of y'all like, what's a backpack rapper? Google that, and Far Side. Tribe Called Quest is gonna come up. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Come on.
Because the sound in Ohio was very different. Like it was. I was different from all of my contemporaries. Back in 2001, I was signed to a label called First Instinct Records out of Akron, Player Instinct Clothing Company. It was more of a G-Funk kind of gangster rap sound, and they signed me. I was completely different. I was more of a Eminem style, like lyrical battle rapper, and so I found that I was way different from everyone in around me, and even with Cleveland, like very different. And there were different artists who had that same gritty like flow, but Ohio has just, kind of melts with whatever's popping, and Ohio has so much talent. It's incredible. But I just always knew that I believed in what I could do. And I knew that, first of all, I told myself I'll never let anybody tell me that, I'm too old to do anything. That dope doesn't get old. That's my thing. I always say dope doesn't get old. And secondly,
wait a minute, hold on. I do. Listen. Wait a minute, hold on. I ain't gonna let you. Forgive me. Pray for me.
You good?
So. I agree with that to a certain extent. If you still can compete and you sonically sound good.
When the old gets old.
Yeah. Because we ain't gonna get some things are dated that people are putting out right now, and I'm praying for y'all. Don't stop putting that out. Ain't nobody gonna buy it. Ain't nobody gonna buy it. Listen, the Lord knows. And stop sending it to me. Yeah, bless our life. They be sending it to us, and I'm not playing it. I love you though. I promise you. I got to be honest.
Yeah,
we do music review. Listen. I curate too much music to be dishonest with you, and I'm going to tell you. Listen, this might be something you can play in the local church.
Yep.
I can't play it on a national platform. My ratings gonna go down. I'm sorry. Absolutely. It don't line up.
You gotta sharpen your sword.
Yes.
We've all been through that. We've all been confronted with that. And I love that I have my son because he's kind of a conscious for me that connects me to the modern generation, right? So,
and you need that.
I need it. Absolutely. I need him more than he knows. And you know what I'm saying? So, and we work together. He's so important to this because he's such an anomaly because he has such a feel for classic hip hop, but he's connected. But he's a part of this new generation. And like when they really get a load of what this guy can do, there's another really big album that he produced most of it. Just wait. I'm not going to tell you whose it is.
Okay.
Just wait.
Well, I can't wait for that one to drop, and I can't wait for multiple ones from you too as well. Yeah. He going to keep you young too, because you need to be relevant, and he need to make sure Pop get that Grammy with him too as well, because y'all can get that Grammy together. Let's be very clear.
Yes,
and that's a family win and legacy.
Yes,
so I'm speaking that over y'all already in Jesus' name that's going to happen. Listen, Monster, I appreciate you coming through, kicking it with me, man. I got to get you back on, but man, listen, tell the people how to connect with you, follow you on all your social media platforms, and please introduce your latest single.
I absolutely will. So this is the Half Man, Half Monster, Tarver, the GOM Menace, God Over Money Menace movement. You can find me on all social media platforms at Monster Tarver, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram. I don't do TikTok dances, just, YouTube, all of those things, Spotify. Yeah, the latest single that we released is Semi-Automatic off of the album The War of Art that is available now. It peaked at 13 on the iTunes Top 100 hip-hop charts. It is no longer on the chart, but it got there. That's all I got to say. It got there. But thank you so much for having me.
Keep it locked. You're tuned into The Fix. You know The Fix is in.
I like red letters over trap beats, The Fix is in. Ooh, DJ Focus, tell him turn you up. Ooh, DJ Focus, tell him turn you up.